can't believe I overslept!
Me neither. That's not like you.
And how do you know how long she sleeps, Sunset? We're off to a good start! Hey, every pony! Welcome back to Pony Talk! And as I said, the first thing I'm going to look at in this new year is the latest Equestria Girls movie, Legend of Everfree. So, did I like this latest tale of the multicolored humans? Heck yeah, I did! I think at this point it's pretty obvious I'm a huge mark for these things. But there were some issues I had, which we'll get to later. Let's go ahead and jump right into the movie. And we start things off with a pretty intense nightmare that Sidetwi is having. Mainly of Midnight Sparkle returning and deleting her friends! Which we kinda already knew from the preview, but still, it's a heck of a way to kick things off. And a good way to show that Sidetwi is still feeling the effects of what happened to her during the friendship games. So yay continuity! Once it is revealed it's a dream, we find the Humane 7 and some other students on a bus to Camp Everfree. And I gotta say, I do love the opening theme. It's a real kind of folksy camp song I could see being sung around a fire. But I can't help but feel there's some more appropriate music that could be played during these images. It's actually quite terrifying how well that works. You know what else is a little terrifying? This bit of exposition we get.
I'm just after some R&R. The past year has all been a bit too much for my tastes.
I'll say we fought 3 evil sirens who tried to hypnotize everybody with their singing, 1 ridiculously competitive rival school, and 2 demon friends. No offense.
A year? I mean, yeah, okay, that does make sense when you think about it, but these kids have gone through all that stuff in just 1 year? Wow, they're either really good at adapting these things, or some of them are going to be in therapy for life. But no time for that, we gotta have the obligatory flash hits on Sidetwi moment. I absolutely love Sunset's expression there. Male or female, the Mrs. and the X is everyone's true nightmare. But enough of our old characters, it's time to meet our new ones.
I'm Gloriosa Daisy, your camp director. Think of me as your friendly camp and nature guide.
I like her. Maybe a little too cheery, but still, she seems nice.
This is my brother, Timber Spruce.
Think of me as that awesome guy, who should always be invited to fun things.
Him I don't like. He's just so much that trying too hard to be cool guy that's really annoying. Not helped by the fact he starts immediately making eyes at Sidetwi, especially since there's someone he has much better chemistry with.
The camp gift, of course.
Really?
Yes, really.
Well, I just thought...
Then you thought wrong. Anyone else picking up on a little tension between Gloriosa and her brother?
Little.
Sexually. Oh, you think I'm joking, but just wait. But after that moment, the tent assignments get handed out, where Gloriosa goes with the boys and Timber goes with the girls. This seems like a really bad idea, especially when this happens.
Do you know that sapphires are just rubies without chromium?
No. But did you know that sapphire tent is the best one?
No. Why is that?
Because you're in it.
Now I know that's supposed to be a really cute and adorable moment, but watch it again with this music and see what you think. Yeah, fits a little too well, doesn't it? Let's hope Gloriosa's being a little more professional with the boys. This camp is run by a couple of perverts. No wonder Filthy Rich wants to shut it down. Oh yeah, that's a plot point that's kinda in there. But we'll talk more about that later. Right now, let's focus on this quite literally magical moment.
I just want to put on some sunscreen. I
could have sworn I packed it.
Found it!
Did you? How is this possible?
I can't believe this. It's
Amazing!
I love their individual reactions to this moment. Sidetwi's reaction with fear shows that once again she's still struggling with the after effects of what happened with Midnight Sparkle. She kinda has PTSD at this moment. While Sunset's joyful reaction shows that she stopped blaming herself for magic being in this world and just enjoys the fact that it is there. It's a great subtle way to show how the friendship games affected both of them. Plus, happy, excitable Sunset is adorable Sunset. Plus, I honestly believe that this is the real Sunset. This is what Celestia saw in her and why she took her under her wing. She's excited to learn new things, but unfortunately Sidetwi kind of puts the kibosh on that. And after agreeing to not tell the others, Sunset does what, well, we'd all do in this situation.
I think you're just gonna have to pick it up.
Aw.
Again, I love her expression through all that. Although, it kind of raises a disturbing question. When did she first learn she needed sunscreen? Oh, that must have been a terrible time for her. We then head over to the dock, which needs a little bit of work.
Whoa. I know I'm charming, but you don't have to fall for me.
She was right to punch him. But since the dock is in shambles, the girls decide to fix it up as their gift to the camp this year. Although it doesn't seem to sit too well between Gloriosa and Timber.
Looks like it's settled then.
Looks like it.
That's some tension, all right.
That is, isn't it, Sunset? It's almost as if it's mounting to something. There's a quick moment where they're trying to figure out the design of the dock that I really like, because it involves one of the background humans helping out the Humane 7. We really do need more bits like this just to get these characters involved a little bit more. Also, Applejack is worthy of the power of Thor. And then we get another Sidetwi Timber moment, but this one brings up something interesting.
You should see my macaroni art. I'm like the Picasso of noodles.
So, Picasso exists in this world, but he has a normal name. How does that work? Do other famous painters, musicians, whatever exist in this world too?
I have so many questions!
We then cut to a tradition in any camp movie, the scary story around the fire. And after Rarity's story failed to, impress, Timber decides to go, because of course he does.
It's time I told you about the legend
Yeah, I know, Jason Voorhees.
of Gaia Everfree.
Oh, right. Why do I keep getting these movies confused? Although I will say the design for Gaia Everfree in the story really is quite intimidating. Again, for a show that's designed to be for little girls, this production team can make some really creepy creatures. Oh, and the story is that Gloriosa and Timber's grandparents built their house on Gaia's land, and she'll let them live there for a while, but one day she'll return to exact vengeance, blah 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 blah, that old story. And of course it ends with a jump scare, and one of Sunset's best lines.
Hey guys! Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
Then why'd you come out of the bushes?
Because she was trying to hide the bodies, of course. Nah, I'm joking. She's not the one who's the serial killer in the family. We then get more horror movie imagery in the form of another Midnight Sparkle nightmare.
Here I am. Over here. I'm always here.
That leads to another great Sunset moment.
What happened?
Huh, I wonder where she learned those sweet kung fu moves. After some more talk about how they really need to figure out what's going on with Sidetwi's magic, and one of the many times the dock is destroyed, and also this.
Spirit, show yourself. The great and powerful Trixie commands it.
Seriously, how bad do you gotta be that Pinky is face palming at you? Anyway, after all of that, Sidetwi runs off to do her favorite thing in the world, sing a sad song by herself. Seriously, it's like the girl's addicted to these things. But she does it so well! Midnight Me may not be as good as what more is out there, but it does a really good job of conveying the struggle she has in dealing with the Midnight Sparkle identity. And once she's done, we get a truly terrifying moment. Yeah, I'll stop doing that when it stops working. Of course, Saitoi is not the only one dealing with new magical abilities, as in rather quick succession we find out that Applejack has super strength, Rarity can create diamond shields, Pinkie can make sprinkles explode because of course she can, Fluttershy can talk to animals, and Rainbow Dash has super speed. And while that does all hit us at once, it's still paced in a way that works fairly well. We're also not quite sure what Sunset's power is, though, but we have been getting subtle hints throughout the movie.
I've got this!
Fluttershy, enough with the screaming.
I didn't scream. For once. Nobody did.
Which honestly makes it kind of obvious, but we do get the full reveal a little later. First, we gotta make paper lanterns to soar through the sky.
Hey, cool lantern. Mine's my face.
Yep, still works, but fine, I'll calm down for now. Especially since there's the more important matter of Saitoi trying to run away and Sunset going to stop her.
Twilight! Where is she going?
Well, that was a quick change. Are we sure she didn't get the super speed? But in their talk, in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night, in a way that totally doesn't make the Sunlight ship even stronger, we discover Sunset's powers.
You don't think it was the spirit, do you?
No, it was me. I think it's Midnight Sparkle. She's still part of me. I can feel it. And I think her magic is infecting my friends.
Yep, she can read people's minds by touching them. It's actually a really fitting power for her, given that one of the other elements ideas thrown around for her is that she's the element of empathy. And, well, this ability would make that easier for her, wouldn't it? I do have one issue with this scene, though. While I applaud the production team for not being lazy and just reusing the exact footage from earlier, why are all these different POVs not from Saitoi's point of view? Seriously, this one is clearly from Spike's point of view. How does that work? Why not looking out from Saitoi's eyes? I just don't get it. But other than that minor hiccup, it is a really good scene that brings these two even closer together, which is broken up by the arrival of a certain someone.
What was that?
Wait, Twilight?
Timber? I'm so glad it's just you. Wait, what are you doing out here?
With an axe.
I was chopping down firewood.
In the middle of the night?
Yeah, I agree with Sunset on this one. You're chopping wood in the middle of the night. Uh-huh. He's the serial killer to another movie across the lake. I told you! But enough with that jerk. Let's get to something really awesome. Sunset finally gets a solo in a movie! And yes, I know she had My Past Is Not Today, which is a great song, but that was a separate thing from the movies. This is the first time within the movies themselves, after 4 friggin' movies, she finally gets to have a solo song, and it's a great song. It's all about, well, let me let Sunset say in her own words.
I say embrace the magic. No more holding back, just let it out. If you can take the magic and learn a little more what it can do, once the magic is part of you.
You know, the funny thing is, this song feels like a direct counterpoint to Unleash the Magic from Friendship Games. Like, it shows what happens if you, well, embrace the magic instead of trying to force it. You work with it, and great things can happen. Like the dock being finished. Yay! Wait, hold on. I feel like there's something I forgot in that whole sequence. Hey, Red. What time is it? It's Pinky o'clock, motherfucker! Yes, when Sunset revealed her power, Pinky immediately grabbed her hand and put it on her forehead and gave us this moment, the most Pinky of Pinky o'clocks.
That explains so much.
And again, I love Sunset's expression and reaction. It sells all of it. Well, once the song is over, Sunset decides to go try to find Saitwai and make out with her. I mean, show her what good they can do with their magic and that she shouldn't be so scared of hers. But in the course of that, she overhears another argument from Gloriosa and Timber.
I just wish you didn't tell them that ridiculous story!
Ah, this is all too much for you. You have to let it go.
I knew it. He wants her to get rid of the camp.
And after getting the door almost smashed in her face, she literally runs into Flash. And they have a nice moment where they just connect. It's a nice, quiet, and, well, human moment that unfortunately we haven't got a lot of in these movies. I also like the direction they're taking Flash in this movie, so much so, I'm going to cover that in a later video. For now, we're going to follow Sunset following creepy Timber and discovering his horrible secret. And also another secret comes out when she calls Saitwai to back her up. That's the Castlevania theme, so I think Saitwai is a retro gamer. And together this dynamic duo discovers why they were told to stay away from the rock quarry earlier. Not to mention the reveal of the true villain, Gloriosa Daisy, and that's kind of what everyone expected. Yeah, I said in my Hopes for Legendary video that I hoped they wouldn't go this route, but they did, and I'm a little conflicted. It does work, especially when we find out her motivation, but it just would be nice to spice things up and not have it be the obvious person. And thanks to Sunset's ability, we get that motivation.
My oh my, you fell behind on your payments, Gloriosa. I own the land now.
Please, my great-grandparents founded this place. It's been in our family for generations. You have to let the camp stay.
Instead of turning it into a spa resort that will line my pockets with more money than this camp ever could? I don't think so.
Please, I just need a little more time.
Fine. I'll give you till the end of the month.
Which is really kinda heartbreaking. But thankfully, salvation comes in a very unexpected form. Okay, this is either Equestrian Magic or some Power Ranger team just got really gypped. Especially when she takes the last two magical geodes and incurs another magical transformation!
More power.
Yes, we're seriously doing this again, because there's a pattern to these movies that we must adhere to. But on the plus side, when she makes it to the camp, she performs the best song in the movie! Seriously, ever since the Candlelight Wedding, Daniel Ingram has been knocking the villain songs out of the park, and this is definitely one of the best. Especially since she's not really a villain. She's actually doing all this to help the camp, to help the campers. She's doing what she thinks is right. But there is one issue I do have with the song.
I have waited for the day to send this greedy wolf away. No need to fear the vultures at the door.
Wolves or vultures? Keep your animal metaphors straight, Gloriosa. Or Gaia Everfree, well, whatever you're calling yourself right now. I do have to say this. Over the course of these movies, the animators and designers have gotten really good at doing the whole, cute monster girl thing. No, seriously, in some of these shots, it's not bad. Oh, and hey, remember how I said I kind of like Principal Celestia a little more than Princess Celestia? Well, here's a quick moment why.
Within these walls of thorns.
Yeah, that little moment proves she's willing to sacrifice herself for the safety of her students. I'm not saying Princess Celestia wouldn't do the same thing for her subjects, but it's one thing to go into a fight expecting to be able to win and being surprised that you lost, and another going into a moment knowing you have no power whatsoever to stop this creature, but still trying to help. That takes real courage and selflessness. Also, I'm pretty sure by this point, Principal Celestia has had more lines in this movie alone than Princess Celestia had in the last 2 seasons put together. After the song, Rarity, Applejack, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie all use their new abilities to help try to save their fellow students. But we gotta get those incidentals out of the way somehow, so they all end up trapped in vine domes. And while Sunset and Sidetwire are making their way out of the Crystal Cave, Rarity actually tries to talk some sense into Gloriosa.
Gloriosa, let's just think about this for a moment, shall we? I mean, I think Camp Everfree is absolutely delightful, but I just don't know that I'm quite ready to give up my weekly trips to the spa. To the spa? To the spa!
But of course she mucks it up by being, well, Rarity. Side note, I think this may be Gloriosa's best craze expression throughout the entire movie. Oh, you know that thing I said earlier about Sunset being the element of empathy, and that's why her magic works like that? This pony-up confirms that.
Twilight, do you think you can use your magic?
I don't want to use too much. Midnight Sparkle could take over.
Twilight! Our friends are in there!
Okay.
I do like that her hair tie is black leather and studded, just to give that hint there's a bit of bad girl still within her. So after making their way inside, they are almost immediately captured with their friends inside one of Rarity's domes, inside one of Gloriosa's vine domes. Good going there, girls. But Sunset does convince Twilight to use her magic to help them out.
It's up to you. You can use your magic to pull the brambles apart.
No, there's too many of them. It would take too much magic. I can't.
It's the only way. You have to embrace the magic inside you.
Yeah, look, I did a whole song about it earlier. You weren't there, but it was really convincing. You gotta use your magic now. And she does, and it leads to another great moment in this movie. Although I call bullcrap on those wings! Sorry, Sidetwilight, I love you, but you haven't earned those wings yet. I mean, maybe they could get away with saying it's a side effect of Midnight Sparkle's magical form, but then what about this? Or this? Yeah, if anyone's earned wings here, it's Sunset. Whatever. Marketing, I guess. Anyway, Sidetwilight does use her powers to get the Geodes away from Gloriosa. And remember that joke I made earlier about a Power Ranger team? Well... Speaking of marketing, hey Hasbro, if you want to make Equestria Girls minifigures out of these designs, I will buy the crap out of them. These things are awesome. It's also interesting to note that they went back to full human in these forms. Yeah, no more pony ears or long tails. I think it's to show this is indeed their magic. While the Geodes may have come from Equestria, it seems like they actually belong in the human world, and hence the human power-ups. Which makes short work of the brambles and turns Gloriosa back to normal, and everything's fine and dandy and happy now. Except for the fact that Filthy Rich is still gonna buy the camp. Unless, of course, the Rainbooms can put together a concert in the Crystal Cave to raise money to save it, which they do, which leads to this montage of them getting ready for the ball, dancing at the ball, and playing at the ball. It's a little weird, but it did give us this moment. Nice to see my other favorite ship got some moments too. Also, this moment happened. And then they banged. Hard. And since I'm talking about little moments, Bulk Biceps dancing is great. Although with that pink suit, I think there's a little more fitting music that could be playing. And as these things go, they raise enough money to save the camp, and Filthy Rich walks away in his curses foiled again pose. And then...
Not to brag or anything, but it's pretty cool how I saved all those campers from those Rubus fruticosus. Blackberry brambles.
I'm familiar with the genus. It's just a little weird. You say you saved the campers. I thought I saved them.
Yeah, you tell him, Twilight.
Yeah, but I saved you from falling on the dock so that you could save the campers. So technically, it was all me.
Oh, you! Alright, this seems as good as time I need to go on my big rant about Timber Spruce. Yeah, I've been very harsh on him throughout this review because I don't like him. Not only does he come off like that guy who tries too hard to be cool, like I said earlier, he comes off as a massive creeper. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. In the commentary, the writer even admitted that some of his lines could be creepy if delivered wrong, which makes me wonder what the right way to deliver them is. But if you know that, if you know his lines could be creepy, maybe not write his lines like that. Also, there's the fact that, okay, let's say he's 18 at the least, so the age difference isn't too odd, because Sideswipe's gotta be at least 16, probably, but he's still a counselor at this camp, and she is a camper. He's in a position of authority over her, so regardless if they're close to her age or not, that makes it really, really unsettling. I'm sorry guys, I love your work, but there's just no way this couple works without seeming squeaky. I know that may seem a bit hypocritical, considering I've been making jokes about Timber and Gloriosa banging throughout this review, but they actually did have the better chemistry. Those are also the only times where Timber seems like a decent human being. And speaking of Gloriosa, I felt really bad for her throughout this movie. Especially when we got that backstory of why she's so desperate for everyone to have a good time at camp and why she's trying to do everything. It's never easy seeing something you invested so much care and time in fail, especially when that's a business that's been in your family for generations. And like Timber, her age is a factor, but in a different way. She is the older sibling, so she's probably 20, 22, somewhere, I'd say at least early 20s. So already she's dealing with a lot of stuff at a fairly young age. Then there's the fact that we never see their parents throughout any of the movie. In fact, the only mention we get of them is this line.
There are some donors I really want him to meet. They were good friends with Mom and Dad.
And putting all that together, it's a very real possibility that their parents went the way of the apples. Which could also be why Gloriosa is the director of the camp, that she had to take over after their parents' death, which means she had to drop out of college. She put her entire life on hold to run the family business. So yeah, with all that in mind, I can see why she would be incredibly heartbroken when Filthy Rich was gonna take the land, and why she'd be desperate enough to use the geodes to save the camp. So like I said, she's not really a villain, she's just trying to do what she thinks is right. It's just things got twisted because of, magic. And honestly, while he's a jerk about it, Filthy Rich isn't technically the villain either. I even said Gloriosa couldn't make the payments, she fell behind, and unfortunately, that's the sad fact of life, that stuff can happen. He was still a giant ass about it though, and I'm glad he lost. You know what else I'm glad for? This little moment right here. Seriously, they spent this entire movie trying to put Sideswipe into a straight relationship, and she still has much better chemistry with Sunset. It doesn't help that they had this little moment where they're blushing at each other. Seriously, just make them a couple. Do it. Do it now. But whatever. There's one last thing we gotta leave this movie on. Yeah, I'm glad they're doing specials, because we definitely need some kind of follow-up for that. And that was Legend of Everfree, the fourth Equestria Girls movie. Hard to believe we made to 4, isn't it? And there's still more to come, apparently. So, join me next time when I go over what I'd like to see in the future of the Equestria Girls franchise. Until then, I am Princess Birdie, and I'll see you again for more Pony Talk.
I have waited for the day to send this greedy wolf away. Now the magic is my salvation. Gather close in my protection. We will stand forever free. Behold the beauty of nature in all its glory.
So lonely cheering as one person.